If you're watching this, chances are you're feeling frustrated. Maybe your child has been receiving dyslexia intervention for months or even years, but the progress just isn't there. You're investing time, energy, and possibly even money into support that doesn't seem to be working. First, let me say you're not alone and your frustration is valid. And most importantly, there is hope. Today, we're going to talk about the reasons dyslexia intervention often doesn't work and what you can do to change that. So let's get started. Reason one, the intervention is not intense enough or for long enough. One of the biggest reasons intervention fails is because it's just not happening enough or for long enough. In schools, children with dyslexia often receive a limited number of minutes per week for intervention. But here's the problem. Research-based dyslexia programs have something called a fidelity standard, which means they were designed to be delivered at a specific intensity and frequency to be effective. If a child is receiving 30 minutes twice a week, but the research behind the program says they need 4 to 5 days a week at least 45 to 60 minutes per session, then the intervention is already set up to fail. So if your child isn't making progress, you need to ask how often and how consistently they're receiving intervention. If it doesn't match the research, that's a major red flag. Reason number two, they don't have enough repetition or the right kind. Every child with dyslexia is unique. Dyslexia exists on a spectrum, and on top of that, many children also have comorbid ADHD, auditory processing challenges, or other learning differences that impact how they process information. That means not all kids need the same number of repetitions to learn something new. For a child's brain to fully learn and retain the skill, they must go through multiple stages. The first one being acquisition, meaning that first exposure to the concept. Then we move into fluency, getting better with practice. Then generalization, using that skill in new situations. And finally, adaptation, when the skill becomes automatic, like riding a bike. Children with dyslexia need significantly more repetitions than their neurotypical peers, but the exact number depends on their individual profile. If your child isn't progressing, they may not be getting enough high-quality multisensory repetitions to move that skill down that pipeline into long-term memory. Number three, we're using the wrong approach and we're doing more of the same. Here's something we see all too often in schools. Instead of using a specialized approach for dyslexia, schools simply provide more of the same instruction, just in a smaller group. Let me put it this way. If I don't speak Spanish and you speak louder to me in Spanish, I still don't speak Spanish. If a child didn't grasp reading skills in the gen ed classroom, why would repeating the same methods with just more intensity magically work? Children with dyslexia need explicit, systematic, multisensory instruction and an evidence-based curriculum that is designed for their unique way of learning. Reason number four, your child isn't progressing. The curriculum isn't evidence-based for dyslexia. Many schools try to make what they already have work for dyslexia intervention, or they purchase an off-the-shelf program that isn't actually designed for dyslexia. Not all reading programs are created equal. Not all structured literacy programs meet the needs of children with dyslexia. Parents, it's critical to ask, what program is being used? Is it evidence-based for dyslexia? And is it being implemented with fidelity? And if you don't get clear answers, that's a problem. Number five reason that it's not working is that the dyslexia profile isn't being considered. Not all dyslexia profiles are the same. Some children may do well in small group instruction, but many need more individualized of an approach. Effective dyslexia therapy must be tailored to how much new information they can handle all at once, the pacing of instruction, the number of repetitions they need, and how concepts are introduced and reinforced. If a child is placed in a one-size-fits-all intervention and isn't making gains, it might be because the instruction isn't customized to their unique brain needs. Number 6 reason, and very common, is the instructor isn't highly trained. When it comes to dyslexia intervention, the person delivering the therapy is just as important as the program being used. Many interventionists claim to be certified in dyslexia. What does that really mean? Was it an 8-hour workshop, or did they complete hundreds of clinical hours and rigorous training and testing? True dyslexia therapies don't just follow a program step by step, they troubleshoot, adapt, and modify instruction based on the child's progress or lack of it. If your child isn't progressing, it might be because their instructor doesn't have the expertise to identify why they're struggling and make those necessary adjustments. So my final thought, though, is that there's hope. If your child's dyslexia intervention isn't working, don't lose that hope. The key is understanding why, so you can make informed decisions about how to move forward. Make sure and ask how long your child is receiving intervention. Find out what curriculum is being used and if it's evidence-based for dyslexia. Ask if instruction is individualized to fit your child's needs, and learn more about the qualifications of the person who's providing that therapy. At Dyslexia On Demand, we specialize in customized, evidence-based dyslexia therapy with highly trained and credentialed professionals. Your child deserves that right support, and when intervention is done correctly with the right frequency, repetition, curriculum, individualization, and expertise, progress happens. If you're ready to get your child the support they need, always visit us at Dyslexia On Demand because we are so happy to help. And like and follow for more informative videos like this.